people we have. Great to see you all. How are you? These are all my rowdy friends, the only normal people in New York City. Welcome to Hannity. Welcome to all of you at home. Thank you for joining us. And tonight, a flagrant double standard in our great country, the U.S. of A. If you are Donald Trump or if you are a Trump supporter, you are not allowed to ever dare question election results. If you do, there will be a special prosecutor in Atlanta or an Atlanta DA that might try to put you in prison to the day you die. As a matter of fact, he's facing just 791 years when you add all the counts up together. Murderers, they spend 5 minutes in jail. Donald Trump, they put in jail, lock him up, throw away the key. But if you're a Democrat, never Trumper, member of the media mob, you can pretty much do and say anything you want. And we've got the tape to prove it. Senator Marco Rubio actually tweeted this out from a group associated with journalist Matt Taibbi. You know, the guy from Twitter. Take a look.
My biggest fear is that he's going to do it again with the help of Vlad, his best pal. It's terrifying.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate?
Donald Trump is an illegitimate president.
Illegitimate president. This wasn't on the level.
Yes, Trump cheated. Trump cheated the 2016 election.
He's an illegitimate president.
Anger at what some see as an illegitimate president.
A number of incidents turned violent. Protesters hurled trash cans, flash bombs, and objects at police.
Several officers injured. Protesters threw rocks and smashed windows, leading to more confrontations, injuries, and arrests.
The chaotic scene just blocks outside the secure area of the inauguration.
You may have seen it on social media. More than 4 million people have signed a petition focusing on Hillary Clinton's lead in the popular vote. They're holding on to hope, asking members of the Electoral College to back Clinton instead of Trump.
Okay, now you got the Democratic media mob. The only candidate, by the way, who colluded with Russia, we found out in 2016, was Hillary Clinton when she paid for a dirty Russian disinformation dossier, paid for by an ex-foreign spy, and first used against Donald Trump in that election, and then, of course, to delegitimize Donald Trump after the election. Illegitimate, illegitimate, illegitimate. They took out the part of the tape that I wanted. Anyway, we can get that to you later in the show. Hillary Clinton never faced legal consequences. None of the Democrats who objected to the 2016 results and attempted to discredit our elections, they never faced consequences whatsoever. Even the people involved in efforts that literally were calling for alternate electors in 2016, they faced zero consequences. Very few of the violent anti-Trump rioters were ever charged with a crime. Even those who attacked federal courthouses, lighting them on fire night after night after night in Portland. 574 riots, summer of 2020. We had 24 Americans dead, thousands of cops pelted with bricks, bottles, Molotov cocktails, you name it. 2,000 cops injured. Nobody held accountable. Billions in property damage. Nobody held accountable. In Georgia, wannabe Governor Stacey Abrams, she frequently accused Republicans of stealing the 2018 gubernatorial election, and she pressured state officials to action against phantom voter suppression claims. And she refused, as we all know, to concede for years. But no charges out of Atlanta against Stacey Abrams. You decide if this is equal justice under the law.
This is not a speech of concession.
Was the election in Georgia statewide a free and fair election?
It was not a free and fair election. Cliff said, she lost. I'm like, no, I just didn't win. Because we don't know what really happened because of the miasma of voter suppression. For me, concession, there's a legal and moral nature to conceding. It means you accept that something is right, that it is just, that it is proper. What happened was not just. I may not have won this election, or at least, but I didn't lose. I got the votes, but we won't know exactly how many because of how they cheated. We had this little election back in 2018, and despite the final tally and the inauguration and the situation we find ourselves in, I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won. But I believe was a stolen election. And I'm not saying they stole it from me. They stole it from the voters of Georgia.
Again, if you are a prominent Democrat, you can pretty much do whatever you want because the liberal lawyers that dominate what is now a weaponized DOJ, Joe Biden's DOJ, they will have your back. In fact, they're going to even run your campaign while you enjoy some rest and relaxation at the beach, and allow me to explain. Remember, soon after Joe Biden, he will now soon embark on a leisurely trip to Lake Tahoe in California. This is shortly after his weekend at the beach in Delaware, which, by the way, it wasn't a week and a half ago. He was on a 10-day vacation on the beach, and he was having a hard time dragging his beach chair around him. But tonight, Joe Biden's reelection strategy, that is in full gear. He doesn't need to lift a finger. Why? Because this election season, he's going to allow his own Department of Justice and the justice system to do all the heavy lifting for him. On March 4th, Donald Trump, well, according to the filing down in Atlanta, they want to start that trial in Atlanta on March the 4th. Well, the very next day, lo and behold, what a coincidence, that would be March 5th, and that will also be Super Tuesday. Donald Trump will also face a court date to be determined during the campaign season in Washington, D.C., one in Florida and one in New York. And while Donald Trump gets nonstop negative press, Joe Biden, he'll just remain in hiding, just like he did in 2020 in the media mob candidate protection program. That's what they offer him, the greatest campaign contribution anybody running for president could ever want or need. As a matter of fact, over the past few months, every time a Biden scandal emerged, well, Trump suddenly faced a new legal challenge. Ask yourself, is this a mere coincidence? June 7th, the FBI finally gives Congress that 1023 form. They had to, of course, threaten to bring in Christopher Wray and hold him in contempt of Congress because he wouldn't hand it over. That was the one that documented foreign bribery allegations against Joe Biden and Hunter Biden from that credible FBI source, because the FBI had paid this guy hundreds of thousands of dollars. The very next day, June the 8th, DOJ special counsel Jack Smith indicts Trump in the Mar-a-Lago document case. Then on July 26th, Hunter Biden's unprecedented sweetheart deal with the DOJ was introduced in court and then rejected by that federal judge who did a great job. The very next day, July 27th, look at this. The special counsel added even more charges onto Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago case. Mere coincidences, right? And then on July 31st, Hunter Biden's former business partner, that would be Devin Archer, testified before Congress. And in fact, Joe Biden not only was on phone calls with some of Hunter Biden and Devin's business partners, some 20 calls, but he also met them in person a number of times, Cafe Milano. And the very next day after that, well, that would be August 1st. Well, here we go again. The special counsel indicted Trump once again over the January 6th issue in Washington, D.C., which brings us to last Friday when a sham special counsel was appointed to slow walk the Hunter Biden investigation and cover up misconduct at the Department of Justice. The very next working day, that would go from Friday to Monday. And then we got, you got it, new charges against Donald Trump, this time out of Atlanta. It's crazy how that all works out. I'm sure, does everyone agree with me? Those are mere coincidences, right? You all agree? Oh, you're all, okay, thank you. The mob and the media is once again obsessing over Donald Trump 24/7, 365, and Joe Biden is doddering along under the radar. Today, during his brief remarks about the devastation in Maui, he couldn't even remember the name of the island. This is after he wouldn't even comment. No comment. What do you have to say to the people of Hawaii? No comment? Really? Did he not know what was going on? By the way, the name is Maui, Joe. Anyway, take a look.
The Army helicopters help fire suppression and efforts on the Big Island because there's still some burning on the Big Island, not the one where you see on television all the time.
The media mob's covering for that guy. Biden says that he can't go to Hawaii quite yet because he believes he's just going to be in the way. Now, how do we know that that's an outright lie? Well, everything is already gone, Joe. Have you not seen the devastation that our fellow Americans have been going through in Maui and Hawaii? All the homes and businesses burned to the ground, Joe. A short visit to the island, I promise you, you're not going to get in the way because nobody's there. They've all had to evacuate. They've all lost their homes. They've all lost their life's investment. And we're still missing as many as 1,300 people. Over 105 people already confirmed dead. Look at the devastation. You think you're going to get in the way there? There's nobody there. It would help if Biden actually, was giving the Hawaiian people the aid that they need to quickly recover. Joe has committed, $700 per household in Maui. By the way, in Ukraine, the people there have received over $2,600 in aid per person from Biden so far. Does that seem right to you? Anyway, does it? But unlike, President Bush and Katrina or President Trump and the media mob going after him over Puerto Rico, there'll be no negative coverage of Joe Biden. They're too busy talking about Donald Trump obsessively, compulsively, and the dozens of new charges that he faces. And it's all according to plan. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.